and welcome to Let's Talk with Mike. Today on the show, we shall be looking at the sexual allegations leveled against Senate President Godswill Akpabio and whether or not the number 3 citizen should step aside pending the outcome of investigations. Join us for this interesting conversation. Some Nigerians have called on Senate President Godswill Akpabio to step aside following allegations leveled against him by Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Senator Natasha had, in a press briefing on Arise TV, accused Senate President Akpabio of victimizing her after she refused his sexual advances. Please watch this.
2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa. And at first, we were at Ikot-Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot-Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just 3 of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away, and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate President, too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate President now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well.
The lawmaker also alleged that Akpabio prevented her from presenting a motion on the Ajaokuta Steel Industry because she refused, quote and unquote, to take care of him and make him happy. Take a look.
Before he takes it, he will say, "Oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it." Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office and I said, "Senate President, you know how important this Ajaokuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it." I was like, "Sir, please, why can't you take this motion? It's very important. It's been listed." Then it was listed a 3rd time and stepped down. He then said, "Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy." At that point, I said, "Sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this." He said, "Well, the ball is in your court." I left his office.
Speaking on Brekete Family, a reality talk magazine program, Senator Natasha alleged that Akpabio has been denying her some privileges, including a removal as chairperson from the local content committee. Take a listen.
I have been going through a lot. So yesterday was just that changing my seat was more of a chance of silencing me or alienating me from being seen. You know, sitting arrangements is very critical. Like when the nearer you sit, you know, positions you closer before the camera and gives you an added advantage to be called upon to contribute to debates. I was now moved suddenly without notice, without any information. My seat was moved to the far corner, a part where the cameras don't capture. Like if you sit over there, you can the cameras can just, you won't even be captured. Nobody will even, except maybe they zoom out and they get to see you there. You will just easily be missing out. You can raise your hands up and nobody will call you. So that is why I said, no, I don't want to move to that seat. I wasn't notified. You understand? This is not a classroom. You can't just push me around. And there are other senators. There are 109 of us. Why is it me? Why do I have to move there? Why me? Just 2 weeks ago, I was removed from a committee from local content. I was moved from there because some people perceived that I was using that office to divert resources from the Niger Delta to the north, and that was not it.
Now, how did this whole problem start? Trouble started when the Senate reassigned Natasha to a new seat following the defection of lawmakers from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. Sensing victimization, Natasha refused to take the new seat, a situation that turned into a rowdy session, prompting the Senate President to instruct the Sergeant-at-Arms to take her out of the chamber. The Senate also referred the matter to its Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition to investigate the alleged flouting of its rules by Senator Natasha Akpoti. The committee was given 2 weeks to present its findings before the House. Senator Natasha has also filed a 100 billion lawsuit against Senate President Akpabio, the Senate, and Ufom Patrick, an aide to Akpabio. She claimed that in a Facebook post, Mr. Patrick had accused her of prioritizing her appearance in the Senate rather than her legislative functions. In a related development, Madam Inyoma Ekaite Akpabio, wife of the Senate President, also filed a 250 billion naira defamatory suit against Senator Natasha, insisting that her husband is a good man that respects women and has good family values. This controversy has also generated mixed reactions among Nigerians, with women of Akwa Ibom State staging a solidarity walk in support of their son, the Senate President. Also, prominent Nigerians, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, the Arewa Consultative Forum, have called on the Senate to ensure a thorough investigation into the matter and ensure that justice is done to restore the sanctity of the Red Chamber. The Conference of Nigeria Political Parties have also called on Senate President Akpabio to step aside pending a thorough investigation into the matter. But the fundamental question is this: can the Senate investigate these allegations against Akpabio? The answer is yes. But the Senate can only do that if the matter is officially brought before it, either by a member of the Senate through a motion or from a petition from a concerned member of the public. If this is done, should Akpabio recuse himself to give room for an unbiased investigation? My personal take is yes. The Senate, being the upper legislative chamber, is a critical component of the legislature and a critical component of our democracy. Over the past few days, the integrity of the Senate has been brought to disrepute and ridicule. And let's not forget that in 2020, the former managing director of the NDDC, Madam John Nunye, claimed in an interview that she slapped Senate President Akpabio because he made sexual advances at her. So I think the Senate must have this matter investigated thoroughly and totally to safeguard the sanctity of the parliament. So my take is this: Senate President Akpabio should recuse himself, hand over to Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin pending the outcome of investigation if the matter is ever brought to the upper legislative chamber. If at the end of the day Akpabio is found guilty, then it must be made to face the full wrath of the law, including a potential impeachment as Senate President. But if he is innocent, then he should be allowed to return back to his position and continue with his legislative functions. On the flip side, if Senator Natasha Akpoti is found guilty of defamation, then she must be made to face the full wrath of the law. But if she is innocent, all her legislative privileges must be returned back to her forthwith. Now let me hear your thoughts on the comment section. Should Akpabio recuse himself and step aside pending the outcome of investigations, or should he remain while investigations continue? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And that is the size of our today's program. If you found this episode interesting, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.